Okay, so I'm going to tell you a quick story before we even dive into diet. So, if you're getting training from me, you know I'm transgender, okay? So, before I even started taking injectable testosterone, I started eating foods that lowered my estrogen and boosted my testosterone, okay? I did this for only 3 months, and I actually grew a goatee and my period stopped. So, you can change your hormones through the foods you eat. Okay, so I'm gonna break it down on why diet is so important when it comes to your hormones. And your hormones rule your body, so make sure that your diet is on point. Okay, so studies have shown that fasting will benefit you not just for weight loss, but it's an entire health gain. Okay, your entire body is gaining better health through fasting. Okay, there's many ways of fasting, and I'm going to do an entire video on just fasting so that you can better understand when to fast, why you should fast, and more benefits from fasting. Okay, but fasting is one of the fastest and best ways to get your hormones to regulate. Okay, animals fast all the time, like on their own. If your dog's not eating, he knows that he doesn't feel good. He needs to stop eating so that he can fast and his body can heal itself. All right. So in diet, it's going to lead us into testosterone and estrogen a lot because that's what really gets hit through other receptors through food. Okay. Let's talk about testosterone first. So a low dose of testosterone, so if you were to get your blood checked, and if you get your blood checked, make sure that you get your blood checked when you're fasted, as well as later when you're not fasted, so that you know what your blood levels are when you're eating and you have insulin in you and when you are fasted and you do not, and that's your base level. Okay, so if you get a blood test done and your testosterone is below 300, that's actually considered very low. Okay, I know depending on if you're a transgender, where you want your testosterone be is going to be different. But honestly, with every person, whether you're cisgendered or transgender, testosterone is going to be different because it's going to be flowing and you have to take care of that. Okay, yes, XY chromosomes and XX chromosomes. So born female and born male, both of those are going to have a role of testosterone. So, like I said, fasting is going to increase your testosterone. It's going to find your free range of testosterone and bind to that. And your testosterone is going to increase from that. So, a lot of times I like to work out fasted because I know that my testosterone is already increasing and I like to utilize that increase while I'm working out, aka in the morning. So, for meat eaters, if you eat grass-fed food, your testosterone is going to raise, okay? That has to do with all of the remnants in the stomach of the animal. So if it is a cow or a goat and you're drinking its milk or eating its cheese, you are then going to have an increase in testosterone. But if that animal did not eat grass and it was grain-fed and it was in a factory, you're not going to get an increase in testosterone. That is just the science behind it. I'm vegan, so I don't care what kind of meat you eat, but I will let you know if it's grass-fed, your testosterone is going to go up. If it's not, your testosterone is not going to go up. And that has to do with, once again, the remnants in the stomach of the animal that you are consuming that from. Once it eats grass, everything changes and it ferments and it does its thing and it creates a remnant in that stomach. And that's what you're actually eating, is that animal's stomach. For vegans, we need to eat algae. So I have a green blend that I take every day so that I can get my hormones balanced and have my pH balance. But I also want to make sure that I'm getting my algae so that my natural testosterone can be boosted. Algae actually has a lot more beneficial properties and hits a lot more other things, including dopamine, that grass-fed meat and cheese and milk does not. Creatine is something that is really needed to be talked about, okay? We are going to talk about creatine even more when I get down to supplements. We have to talk about our hormones before we talk about our gut and before we talk about what supplements we need to be taking, okay? So when you take creatine, it is bioavailable in the body and it binds to amino acids, and that is what creates our testosterone to increase, okay? Creatine is good for anyone, whether they are working out or not working out. It's something that is going to help regulate your hormones, okay? Alcohol, 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 alcohol. Okay, so there's so many different forms of alcohol, from kombucha to wine to beer, okay? So alcohol will decrease your testosterone, but it has to be significant amount of alcohol, okay? So if you're gonna drink, you don't wanna drink 5 beers, like boom, 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 right there. Or you don't wanna drink 3 beers every single day, every single day, every single day. If you're gonna drink, then you want to space it out. You want to change it up. You want to have 2 beers here, skip a day or 2, 3 beers here, skip a day. You don't want to be drinking every single day. And if you do, you only want to be consuming 1 to 2 glasses of what I like to say a good alcohol. So like wine or something very, very clean. Beers do hold a lot of estrogens. So if you get towards an IPA, you're going to be consuming a lot more estrogen properties in your bodies, okay? Now, when it comes to estrogen, okay, estrogen is a finicky little guy, okay? He's running around there doing all kinds of things. If you have ovaries, they are created, estrogen is created in those ovaries, and then when you go through menopause, it shoots up into your adrenal glands, okay? So my theory, and I'm doing studies on, there's not enough scientists out there doing it on transgender people, but trans men, so those that have XX chromosomes, and then take testosterone, they're still XX chromosomes, but then our ovaries kind of shrink and shut down and don't produce as much estrogen, okay? So I am wondering if that goes to our adrenal glands. And so a lot of trans guys, after taking testosterone, has a lot more problems when it comes to our adrenal glands and mucus and aggravation and things like that. And I'm trying to figure out that right there, okay? And once I do, it's gonna shoot off. But I do know that we are still, if you have your ovaries and you have not went through a full menopausal state, even though we take testosterone and it feels like we go through menopause, those hot flashes and everything, because our ovaries are shutting down, they are still producing a little bit of estrogen. Person varies, okay? Every person varies. You may have some shooting out and you may not have some shooting out at all. But if we have estrogen and testosterone together, they make a strong muscle, and you actually grow muscle faster and can hold on to it better. We'll get down the line talking about that when it comes to exercise, because XX chromosomes that have estrogen and free testosterone can create more stronger, sustainable muscle than just XY chromosomes. Okay, so depending on how much estrogen you have coming out of that depends on the muscle growth, testosterone, progesterone, all of that. We have to keep our estrogen in check. We have to keep our testosterone in check, yes, because it can aromatize and turn to estrogen. Once it turns to estrogen, no bueno. That's when you get gynecomastia and low libido and things like that. Estrogen has to do with our libido, not testosterone, okay? Estrogen is the leader in our libido. That is your sex drive, okay? If your estrogen is too low, you're not gonna have a sex drive. If your estrogen is too high, you're not gonna have a sex drive. That comes to XX chromosomes and XY chromosomes, men and women, and trans people. So to help our estrogen, when it comes to foods like I was talking about, I was eating foods that decreased my estrogen. I was also taking a lot of calcium. Calcium decreases your estrogen, okay? This is something that everyone should take. You should all take calcium because it decreases estrogen, and in all genders. If you have too much estrogen, you can then have breast cancer, okay? You can have ovarian cancer, all kind of cancers that go through these circulatory systems of where estrogen lies, okay? The more high fatty foods you have, the more estrogen you are going to be producing into your body, okay? So if you're constantly eating, red meat with a whole bunch of fat on that side, and you're eating that fat, if you don't want that much estrogen in your body, do not eat that fat. If you're eating a whole bunch of chips, and you don't want the estrogen, stop eating the chips, okay? There's a difference in healthy fats and bad fats, omega-3s and omega-6s, and then bad fats, trans fats, saturated fats, things like that, okay? When it comes to eating healthy fats, when you want that, you want something like an avocado, you want salmon, things like that, okay? But to decrease your estrogen even more and make sure that it is where it should be, you can just eat crucifix vegetables. Crucifix vegetables are very high in protein, okay? But they also suppress all of that estrogen, okay? And it will boost all that free testosterone. Okay, so I'm just gonna spit off a few. These are ones that I eat weekly, if not daily, plus I have my green blend. It's gonna be broccoli. I eat a whole lot of broccoli. I'm not gonna lie, a whole lot of broccoli, guys. It has more protein than a steak. Cabbage, eat a whole lot of cabbage, okay? And sauerkraut, because sauerkraut's great because you get the fermentation in there. Cabbage is great. Brussels sprouts, I know so many of you guys do not know how to cook Brussels sprouts, but if you need to know how to cook Brussels sprouts, I will give you a recipe. Air fryer is awesome, as well as a skillet. Cauliflower. Cauliflower, I want to say, was the key to me lowering my estrogen so much back in the day, okay? I ate so many cauliflower wings. I ate so much mashed cauliflower. Cauliflower is just my jam. I love cauliflower. I digest that so well. It is so good for you, and it fills you up. It really fills you up. Kale. Kale, for me, with my digestion, I gotta be careful with it, but kale is a great way to lower your estrogen. I like to put mine in my smoothie or saute it with some pepper on top and some garlic just to get that super benefit, because that garlic is gonna help your heart, and that garlic is also going to give you more blood flow. More blood flow, that means that we're gonna have more muscle growth, as well as being able to not be tight and open up in those areas, getting more blood flow into those areas, sending mind-body connection to those areas. Bok choy. Bok choy is something that a lot of people do not eat, okay? I eat a lot of Asian food. I love Asian food. It is Asian food, and Hispanic food is definitely my favorite. I'm not gonna lie. That and a falafel, man, I could have that every single day, okay? But bok choy is amazing. It tastes amazing. You can put it in your soup, you can put it in your salad, and it's just super great for you to lower that estrogen. All right, so now I'm gonna talk about smoking, okay? Smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, smoking in general. It actually aromatizes and does increase your estrogen. I do smoke. I smoke marijuana because of the benefits from it is way outweighs the amount of estrogen I get. But I also will orally take CBD or THC or I'll eat it, or I'll do something like that, okay? Smoking it, I don't have to always do, okay? I just want the benefits from marijuana in all the other ways, okay? And I am gonna go over marijuana, psilocybin, all of those things as well in this course. Right now, I'm just letting you know that yes, smoking marijuana does increase your estrogen. Smoking cigarettes do increase your estrogen, okay? So if you have one joint a day, you know, your estrogen is probably not going to go that high. But if you have 15 cigarettes that day, I'm pretty sure your estrogen is going to go a lot higher than that one joint, okay? So this is going to be just the diet section, okay? I know it's a very long section, but it's very important that you understand why diet is so important. It literally changes our hormones, and our hormones rule our body.